This machine has just one pump, but its arm can lift, swing, curl, and dig. 4 movements at the same time in perfect control. So who is giving the orders? Not the engine, not the pump. This little block of steel. That block is a hydraulic valve, the brain of every hydraulic system on the planet. In the next 10 minutes, you'll learn what valves actually do, how they work on the inside, and every major type, from a simple hand lever all the way to the servo valves flying passenger aircraft. And stay till the end, because I'll show you a valve that fits in your palm, but controls more flow than a fire hose. This is Hydraulics A to Z. If you're new here, subscribe, because we build this knowledge step by step every week. Let's go. Think of a busy city crossing with no traffic lights. Cars everywhere, total chaos. Now add one traffic policeman. Suddenly, order. He decides who moves, who stops, and which way they turn. A hydraulic valve is exactly that, the traffic police of your hydraulic system. The definition is simple. A hydraulic valve is a device that controls the start, the stop, the direction, the pressure, and the flow rate of hydraulic oil. And from that, we get 3 families of valves. Directional control valves, they decide where the oil goes, so your cylinder extends or retracts. Pressure control valves, they decide how much force is allowed and protect the system. And flow control valves, they decide how fast the oil moves, which sets the speed of your machine. Today, we focus on the biggest family, directional control valves. But here's the real question. How does a solid block of steel decide anything? The answer is a part machined more precisely than a wristwatch. Meet the spool, a precision-machined steel rod with lands and grooves sliding inside the valve body. The body has ports. P for pressure, oil coming from the pump. T for tank, oil going back home. And A and B, the 2 lines going to your cylinder. Slide the spool to one side. P connects to A, B connects to T, and the cylinder extends. Slide it the other way. P connects to B, A connects to T, and the cylinder retracts. That's it. Every directional valve on Earth is just this trick repeated. Now, here's your first mind blow. The gap between the spool and the body is just 3 to 13 microns. A human hair is about 70 microns thick. That gap is up to 20 times thinner than a hair. That's why dirty oil is the #1 killer of valves. One invisible particle can jam the spool solid. Okay, the spool moves, oil obeys. But wait, something has to push that spool. And there are 3 ways to do it. Way number 1, muscle, the manual valve. A hand lever connects straight to the spool. You pull the lever, the spool slides. Simple, cheap, unbreakable. This is the joystick and lever bank on old tractors and log splitters. The actuator is you. Way number 2, air, the pneumatically operated valve. Compressed air pushes a small piston and the piston shifts the spool. Why use air? Because in some places electricity is dangerous. Paint booths, chemical plants, mines. One spark, there is a disaster. So we let air do the pushing. Way number 3, electricity, the solenoid valve. A copper coil wraps around a steel plunger. Energize the coil, it becomes an electromagnet, snaps the plunger across, and the plunger shoves the spool. De-energize, a spring pushes it back. This is the most common valve in modern industry because a solenoid speaks the same language as a PLC. A computer sends 24 volts and steel moves. That is automation. But solenoids have a weakness. At high flow, the oil itself fights back, and the solenoid simply isn't strong enough to win. Hold that thought, because that exact problem created one of the smartest valve designs ever made. We'll get there in a few minutes. Now let's crack the code you see in every catalog. 4/2, 4/3, 3/2. What do these numbers mean? It's simple. First number, how many ports, also called ways. Second number, how many positions the spool can sit in. A 2/2 valve. 2 ports, 2 positions. Open or closed. A 3/2 valve. 3 ports, pressure, tank, and 1 work line. Perfect for a single acting cylinder where oil pushes one way and a spring returns it. A 4/2 valve. 4 ports, 2 positions. Now we can drive a double acting cylinder. Extend, retract. But notice something. There's no middle. The cylinder is always doing one or the other. No rest. Which brings us to the king. The 4/3 valve. 4 ports, 3 positions. Extend, retract, and a neutral center, where the machine can pause, hold, or idle. This is the standard valve of world industry. But that innocent-looking center position is hiding a secret. What the oil does while the valve sits in neutral can completely change your machine's behavior. And this is the part most beginners get wrong. Welcome inside the center position. Same valve, same ports. But engineers can machine the spool so that, in neutral, the ports connect in totally different ways. Each pattern has a name and a personality. Closed center, often called E-type or O-type. All 4 ports blocked. The load is locked in place, rock solid. And because pressure stays available, several valves can share one pump. The cost? The pump keeps working against a dead end, so the system runs hotter. Open center, the H-type. All 4 ports connected together. In neutral, the pump's oil strolls straight back to tank at almost 0 pressure. Cool running, energy saved. The trade-off? The cylinder isn't locked. The load can drift. So one design holds the load but wastes energy. The other saves energy but drops the load. Can we have both? Yes. Tandem center, the G-type. P connects to T, so the pump unloads and stays cool, while A and B stay blocked, so the load holds firm. Best of both worlds. That's why you'll find it everywhere in mobile machines. Float center, the J-type. Now P is blocked, but A and B both open to tank. The actuator is free to move. It floats. Think of a dozer blade following the ground. L-type, the half float. P and B blocked, but A opens to tank. Only one side is relieved. You use this when one port must never trap pressure, but the other side still needs holding. And the wild one, the P-type, the regenerative center. Pressure connects to both A and B. Tank is blocked. Sounds crazy, but it makes a cylinder extend extra fast. Speed on demand. One warning before we move on. These letters, E, H, G, J, L, P are manufacturer codes, and different brands use different letters for different patterns. So never trust the letter alone. Always read the symbol on the datasheet. The symbol never lies. Remember the problem we left hanging? Big machine, huge flow, hundreds of liters per minute. And the solenoid is just too weak to shove that big spool against the force of rushing oil. Here's the genius solution. Don't push the spool with electricity. Push it with oil. This is the pilot-operated valve, a two-stage design. On top sits a tiny solenoid valve, the pilot. Below sits the giant main valve. The solenoid shifts the tiny pilot spool. Easy, it's small. The pilot then sends pressurized oil to the end of the big main spool, and that oil slams the main spool across with unstoppable force. A whisper of electricity, commanding a monster of a valve. Oil moving oil. It's exactly like power steering in your car. Your fingertips turn the wheel, and hydraulics does the heavy twisting. One detail for your notes. The pilot oil can come from inside the valve itself, or through external ports marked X and Y. You'll meet those letters on every big valve's datasheet. So we solved force. But engineers had one more trick. What if a valve needed no valve body at all? At the start of this video, I promised you a valve that fits in your palm but outperforms a fire hose. Here it is, the cartridge valve. Instead of a bulky valve bolted to a plate with pipes running everywhere, the working parts are shrunk into a compact cartridge that installs directly into a machined cavity inside a steel manifold block. Two families. Screw-in cartridges. Threaded, compact, tough. Open the manifold of any modern excavator, crane or forklift and you'll find dozens of them. And slip-in cartridges, also called logic elements. Fast-acting poppets held in by a cover plate, built for massive flow. We're talking thousands of liters per minute in giant presses. Every valve you saw today is either fully open or fully closed. So how does an excavator arm move with millimeter precision? How does an aircraft wing surface adjust by half a degree? There are valves that don't just switch. They think in percentages. Proportional valves. And their king, the servo valve. A device so precise it costs more than a car. That's the next episode. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you there.